Hello everyone, it's Elaine. Thank you for joining me here today on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing this card that I made using the Sunny Studio sliding window die. So to start off with, I've taken a piece of cardstock. This is slightly larger than A2 sized, and I'm just securing this down to my glass media mat here with some post-it tape. I am then going to secure down with the help of some painter's tape this cloud stencil. This is the mini cloud stencil by My Favourite Things, and I have taken my Tumbled Glass distress ink and a mini ink blending tool, and I'm just gradually blending on some lovely fluffy clouds. Now my camera did get stuck and wouldn't focus, so I did restart. So here I have just gone halfway up the panel, and I have kept this in because it does feature as a kind of major part of the card. It's the whole of the front panel of the card. So what I do is I just prefer to tape down my stencil. I find that helps me to not move my stencil around. I find putting pressure on my hands quite hard, so I like the help of some tape. And I just gradually blend on some fluffy clouds, and I twist and turn that stencil as I go, just to get some variation of clouds as we move up. I love this stencil. It's one of my favourite stencils. If you follow me on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram account, you will have probably seen that I have used this a number of times before. But I'm using a really light hand here. My tumbled glass is fairly dry. It's not too juicy, so I don't find that I have to tap it off each time. But if you find that you're getting splotchy marks, I do recommend tapping off some of that excess ink before taking it to your card panel. Finally, just adding a little bit of ink at the bottom there so that it isn't too bright white. And now I'm taking my Waffle Flower Lacy Layers dies and taking the largest rectangle in that set, securing it down with some post-it tape and then running it through my die cut machine. Now I'm taking that sliding window die by Sunny Studio Stamps, and also taking that little semicircle notch, and you'll see why we need that in a moment. But I run those together through my die cut machine. I'm very careful to peel off that tape. I don't want my card panel to tear, and there's a little gap at the top, so I just took my Tim Holtz scissors and just snipped that off. And I couldn't find my bone folder, so I would recommend using one of those if you repeat this, but there are some score lines that are created with that die, and you just need to bend them back and forth as I'm doing on the video, and you can see that that's starting to take shape. So flip that panel over and adding some 1/8 inch score tape along that tiny flap at the bottom there. Remove that release paper, and now I have another piece of cardstock cut to 3 1/4 by 5 inches, and this is going to be our pull panel. So you want that to be slightly wider than the opening on the slider window, but not too wide that you don't have anywhere to put your adhesive. So there we can see that it's working. So to create the rainbow on the front of the card, I've taken my Crafting Desert Divas rainbow die, and you can see it cuts out all these little rainbow panels, and you want to make sure you get them in the right order before inking. And then one by one I just inked up each little rainbow section. I use a really light hand when doing this because I don't want to buckle the cardstock, because then when you ink blend it will pool up in the creases. And you might want to ask me how I know this, because I've done this many times before and made that mistake. So I'm just using a really light hand, using my fingers to try and pull taut the cardstock so that it doesn't buckle up as I'm blending. So I've used Spun Sugar, dried Marigold, squeezed lemonade. This one here is cracked pistachio, and faded jeans. And finally I'll be using Wilted Violet. These are my favourite colours for rainbows. I like the pastel type of rainbows. And there you can see my rainbow pieces are complete. Now to put the rainbow together, I find the easiest way is to grab that die and flip the rainbow pieces over onto their wrong side, pop them back into the die, and you'll feel when they'll fit into the grooves, and then grab some washi or any kind of sellotape or tape that you have on your desk. I usually just grab what I have, and then just putting some pieces of washi to secure those pieces together. And then used my quick stick tool there to pop everything out. And just trim off any little pieces of washi that might be showing through. Just using my Cuties scissors there. And there I have my rainbow. And to create my clouds, I have used these super cute clouds out of the Making a Card number 13 from C.C.Designs. And one of those clouds cuts out this little heart. And I just popped that onto some post-it tape and coloured that little heart with my Copic markers. I've used R81 and R83 to do this. Then grab my Spun Sugar and just lightly inking up the edges of those clouds. I have cut 4 from heavyweight white cardstock, and I'm going to be inking up all 4 of those clouds just very lightly around the edge, just to give some definition and interest. I've popped some washi tape on the back of one of those clouds, and that's going to help secure my little pink heart that I'm going to pop back in that little hole. Just using my tweezers to press that down. Now going to adhere my clouds to the base of my rainbow. Just using some liquid adhesive to do this. And I only want one of the cloud hearts to be showing, so I've hidden that other one behind the other cloud, and then I just have this one sitting on top. I'm adding some Nouveau shimmer pen on top of the clouds, and then I'm also adding some glossy accents to that little pink heart. I think that finishes that off nicely, and then I just set that aside to dry. Now moving on to my cute unicorn, just securing this down to my workspace. I'm using my Zig Clean Colour Real Brush markers here, and this is Bristol Smooth paper. I have used VersaFine Onyx Black ink for this cute unicorn, and I've heat set it with clear embossing powder, and that way it helps to keep the colour within the lines. And I have just got some water off to the side, so I'm popping down my colour around the edges and then blending that out with some water on a very small paintbrush. And I've got the colours listed on the screen, but I will also have them over on my blog and in this description box below for this video. Just some really soft, cute unicorn colours. And just deepening up those shadows in places. And using some pink for the cheeks. And now I've just used my Nouveau shimmer pen again on the wings and the horn. And then I wanted to add a notch into my card base. I've got an A2 size card base here. I'm just lining things up. And then I have run that through my die cut machine. I just thought that was easier to pull the tab. Especially as this card is probably going to go to one of my goddaughters, and they are very teeny tiny and need help with opening things like this. So I thought that would make it super easy for them. So I pop that card base into my Misti tool. This is my mini Misti, and I've also just cut out that window panel from some lightweight cardstock just as a template to help me line up where I'm going to have that message in the window. So this is now stamping on the actual card base and what is going to appear when you pull back that sliding window. So I've used Wishing You a Magical Day. This is from Avery, Elle Unicorn stamp set. I will have the exact name listed down below. So I've stamped that with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and now I'm taking some star stamps that also come in that stamp set and inking those up with some pink ink from Hero Arts. This is one of the ombre ink pads, but I really like that middle shade. So I'm just careful to only ink up with that shade. And I thought it looked a bit too bright white when you pull back that window, so I'm adding some Tumbled Glass. Being careful not to go over the sentiment too much. And now I've taken a white shimmery paint from my Ganzo Tambi palette and just tapping some sort of shimmery splatter all over that panel, and I did leave that to dry. I've used my Heffy Doodle Interactively Yours stamp set to stamp the Pull Me, and then just popping some foam tape along the edges of that panel. And excuse my head here, I wanted to make sure I lined up everything carefully. And so just carefully lining that up and then pressing that down. And here you can see it's really starting to take shape here. And now to start adhering some of my elements to the front of the cards, I just pop some liquid adhesive just below that score line where things are going to crease when it pops up. And then again, just some more liquid adhesive to pop on my unicorn. Adding some gel highlights to the unicorn there. And for the front of the card, the sentiment is going to read Happy Birthday. So I've used this Happy Scripty die from Mama Elephant. I've cut it twice from heavyweight white cardstock. I'm just adhering those together with some liquid adhesive. And then I will do the same for that top layer, which has been cut from some sparkly silver cardstock. And just using my fingers there to pinch the layers together so that they match up evenly. And for the birthday, I have used my R81 Copic marker on some white cardstock, and I've grabbed a birthday stamp from my stash. I've heat embossed that with some silver embossing powder and trimmed that down into a small rectangular sentiment piece. Pop some liquid adhesive on that P and Y of the happy, and then just pop that on top. I've used my Mama Elephant confetti die to cut out these sparkly silver stars. Stuck those down with liquid adhesive, and there my card is complete for today. So I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I really enjoyed making this card. I can't wait to give it to my goddaughter. And I look forward to seeing you next time. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.